And just welcome everybody to One Heart, One Mind. And we still have a couple more people to pop on, but in the meantime, I think we're gonna kick things off with Jessie. We have our fabulous Jessie here to sing for us today.
Here I am.
Can everyone please mute except Jessie?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I got that. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna do this nice Ricky Byers now song. We all know it apparently. I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Let's do it again. I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. One more time. I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Yes, we are. Was that a Ricky song? I always thought that was a Canon song. Maybe Ricky wrote it. Did Ricky write it?
I think she did. Yeah.
Oh. Well, those songs really get around. They got a lot of legs because they're so good and so true. All right. Well, I see Ralane popped on. Good morning, Ralane.
Good morning.
Ralane is our practitioner of the day. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So this morning, Michelle's going to be talking about our divinity and humanity. And it just seemed like such a wonderful topic. And I was so happy to be here this morning to speak to it. And I saw a bumper sticker just this week that said, bless all humanity. I like that. And I looked up humanity, and humanity is just not blessing all humans, but it's also blessing the interconnection of all beings. So nature and animals, wildlife, all sentient beings. So I thought that was really interesting. And some time ago, I went to Morro Bay, and I felt the Morro Bay rock, which I always felt a connection with, was wanting me to stick around and listen to the rock. And I never had that experience before, but I had to go, but I still listened for a little while, and I felt this deeper connection of understanding that this Morro Bay rock was made of magnetic energy. I did some Reiki with it, and when I went home, I researched the rock, and it is made of magnetic energy, and it's very old, the rock, and it was a Indian burial site, so it's very sacred. And I remember feeling always feeling quite wonderful when I was with the rock, whether I was listening or just being with the rock. So when Michelle had her topic for this week, I decided to sit with my dog Lightning and her friend Maria the peacock. Maria is not our peacock, or Pedro, her brother, but they're our neighbors, but they like to hang with us. And so, and Maria and Lightning are friends. They're always together, and they're both very quiet beings. So I decided to sit with Maria and Lightning to commune with their divinity and with their humanity. And
Are these
I,
the photos you sent me? Do you want me to show them?
sure, you could show that.
Okay, that's who that is, right?
What?
Are these who the photos
Yeah,
are? It's
yeah,
okay,
yeah. Thanks for remembering.
sure.
These are the pictures of Maria and Lightning, my dog. So, well, there's
It was kind of small, so I enlarged it a little bit, but let me make it a little bit smaller so you can see the peacock. There you go.
yeah, so there's Maria. She's got a little doodads on her head that are very cute. And but they sit together like this. She Lightning fell asleep at that point, but they're always together.
Yeah,
And
and then there's another one too.
yeah,
Let me show
yeah,
that.
this one Lightning, the next one Lightning is awake.
Like, yeah, let's see. I'll
That's
get,
okay. No worries.
here we go.
But it gives you a sense of what I was doing. And you can see the pictures.
There they are. So cute.
There we go. And there's Maria and Lightning together.
Well, now you can see the little top knot.
Yeah. So I decided to sit next to Lightning to her delight and commune with the two of them and their beautiful relationship that they have. And they have such a quiet relationship, but it seems really special. And at first, I kind of did some Reiki with Maria because I like doing that, and Maria is a very, very interesting being. But then I realized I wasn't really practicing the presence. I wasn't communing with Maria because I was doing the Reiki. So I stopped that, and then I just watched and joined in communion and joined in connection and joined in with the friendship and the relationship. I joined their world. Normally with wildlife, we kind of feel like they join our world. They come to our place, they come to our home, or they're in our forest. But I felt like I was coming to their world and joining with them with grace. And that was really different, a different feeling, just sort of like I joined with the rock and listened to the Morro Bay rock. And then I started thinking, gosh, I really need to power wash the back porch and clean those windows. And I realized that I was, again, not communing and being in that deeper way of relationship with interspecies communication. And there's also ground squirrels and turkeys and other animals out there too, all, interspecies communion. And I decided to just get back to it and commune with Maria and Lightning. And what I felt was an incredible relaxation just a feeling of ease and comfort. And it just felt so nice. It felt truly wonderful to be a part of their world in a deeper way with their divinity and their just their joining their world. And the next day when I did it, I felt like I skipped over all the distractions and then I was just there in that wonderful state of relaxation and ease and comfort. And it was just a beautiful experience. And so out of all of it, what I truly believe is that I would like to do that more. I'd like to join in more with interspecies animals and wildlife, and also with people where I'm more of just being in the presence of their divinity and just listening and being. And how wonderfully relaxing and comfortable. It was better than meditation, and it was about akin to prayer. And it was just really, I can't tell you how wonderful it felt. So I'm excited to continue with this. So let's go into prayer. just feeling that oneness and that connection and that amazing energy of spirit, feeling the beauty and the order and the flow, and compassion, the communion, the relationship, the perfection of nature and of God, of spirit, of Maria the peacock, Lightning, my dog, and all our souls just interconnected, our spirits one with God, all of us just being in that oneness, practicing the presence. What I found to be true is that Maria and Lightning practice the presence quite well. And they also work well in communion and relationship, and that there's things to learn from other species and even from our rocks and our earth as we join with them in grace and humanity and their divinity. Our divinity comes and meets their divinity. And how beautiful is that? So I'm really, really excited about this talk this morning, and Reverend Michelle and Jesse and all of you to be here together in this sacred moment as we all practice the presence, as we all feel that communion, that deeper connection with our souls. I'm just really grateful for all of you, and I'm grateful for God and spirit and our planet and all the wildlife and animals and all the people too that surround Alice in this beautiful flow of oneness. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. And I release this prayer into divine law, knowing that as we release, we receive so much. As we practice the presence, we receive so much. As we give, we receive, and as we receive, we give. And so it is.
So it is. Wow. I can't tell you how much you captured the flavor of today's message. It was perfect. Thank you so much for that. And you'll see as the message unfolds, but it was just amazing. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Oh, Jesse.
Hello. There in the center of my soul, I can feel you all around me. Something holy and untold, but I hear it perfectly somehow. In the deepness of now, I can see I was made in the image. I was made in the image of love. I was made in the image. I was made in the image of love. Here and now, I can see I was made beautifully. I was made in the image. I was made in the image of love. Beyond books and words and songs, at the gate of all my longing, leaving certainty behind. I take one step and you come running. It's clear. In the deepness of here, I can see you were made in the image. You were made in the image of love. You were made in the image. You were made in the image of love. Here and now, I can see you were made beautifully. You were made in the image. You were made in the image of love. Love, love,
Beautiful. I'm feeling super grateful for Ralane's story, for that beautiful music, for everybody's presence here. We've just created such a sacred space, and I'm so grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So deep breath. As we move in to today's talk, I was going to say the June affirmation, but I don't want to break the spell. It's just so beautiful. So I just once again want to say good morning, One Heart, One Mind, Center for Spiritual Living, and just remind us all what a warm and welcoming and loving spiritual community we are. I'm just so glad that we are all making this connection today. And for anyone that is listening to this later for the replay, I'm just glad you're connecting with us as well. Real time or replay makes no difference. So today's message is called Breathe and Be Curious. I really like that title, which invites us to just take a breath, and feel our connection with the divine presence and be curious about all of the experiences we have, in our human lives, just walking through our days, all of it, the whole thing, all the wonderful gifts of life that have blessed us with the things that bring us joy, and all the things that aren't always as comfortable to look at. We can be curious about everything, the entire human adventure, which is really just so vast. So lately, I've been rereading, well, actually, I should say re-listening to the audiobook Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. And something hit me in chapter 5, where he begins to talk about a visit he had with a well-known local sage. People called him the perfume saint. And this sage gave Yogananda this wise counsel. He said, God is simple. Everything else is complex. And I couldn't help but think, wow, what a clear perspective to experience life from. God is simple. Everything else is complex. It kind of distills life down to the wisdom of living in harmony with divine truth, to ask ourselves as we move through our day, is this thought, this feeling, this activity in alignment with the simplicity of divine truth? Or is it something else? Because God is simple. God is all that exists. God is love. We are one with God. God is this benevolent presence in and through all of its creation. God expresses itself into its creation through natural law. It's not complex. It's as simple as lightning and Maria being together in that presence. It's not complex. God is simple. And Ernest Holmes wrote, I was thinking, well, let's back this up with a quote from Holmes. And so I looked and I found almost an identical quote. It's a little more wordy because, our friend Ernie is kind of wordy, but he wrote, the infinite is not a complexity of thought, but a simplicity of spirit. The same idea. The infinite is not a complexity of thought, but a simplicity of spirit. Spirit is our natural home. When we live in that conscious unity with Source, we're living in harmony with natural law. The flow of spirit through our lives is natural. Spirit naturally expresses as our good when we live from that connection with the divine presence. God is simple. Everything else is complex. But life only gets complex when we're tempted to view life from our separation from God and not from our unity. When we experience God as over there and we're over here. And of course, that can never be true, but we can believe that it's true. That's when things get complex. Seeing ourselves as separate from our source cuts off that natural flow of God moving through us. But when we live from that felt experience, you know what I mean? That feeling that presence within us. We're not only living in service to our own growth and unfoldment, but to humanity's growth and unfoldment, because whatever we think and feel, we contribute to the whole. We individualize it, we contribute it to the collective consciousness. And we have everything within us that we need. Every quality of spirit is already within us. We're not missing anything. All that God is, we are. And when we live in harmony with these qualities, when we feel the resonance of them within us, we naturally express them in our lives in our own unique way. That's why we're here, to be this unique expression of God. But there's always a but, right? But we all know that just by being human and living in the world, that the cultural norms and the influences we encounter every day aren't usually grounded in oneness. They're usually grounded in separation, in comparison, in lack and limitation, competition. And these things aren't grounded in the oneness of God. We all know that our predominant culture labels and judges everything based on external norms. How much money do you make? What kind of car do you drive? What's your gender, your age, your religion, blah, 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 on and on. Rather than seeing life through the simplicity of our oneness with God, our oneness with life, our oneness with each other. God is simple. And to switch that perception, that perspective, I should say, around, it takes a dedicated spiritual practice. And like any other skill we want to develop, through practice, it becomes easier and easier. I was listening to Michael Beckwith the other day, and he had a great way of describing how we've created, as a collective consciousness, our common cultural beliefs. He said, I wrote it down because I don't want to mess it up. That's a great way to say it. He wrote this. He said, oops, wrong one. He said, I can't find it. Here, I'll just read it from here. He said that our common cultural beliefs are the condensation of thoughts, beliefs, perceptions, points of view that have condensed themselves into a world of appearances, that's always changing, because we know it's based on things that are not grounded in unchangeable spiritual truths. They're not infinite. They're going to change. We live in a world where the most common belief is that we're separate from God and from each other, which of course can never be true, as I said, but we can perceive that it's true. And not everybody holds this belief. There are many, many people waking up to our unity, and that's why I'm so certain in my optimism that we will change this common narrative, that it is going to change. We can see it happening all around us. Things are rising up. Because all throughout human history, we've collectively believed a lot of things that haven't been true, because the earth is not flat. The sun does not revolve around the earth. Disease is not caused by bad air. Slavery is not natural or justified. Women are not intellectually inferior to men. And the universe is constantly changing and expanding. And we are one in God. We share the same life. And just because there is a common misbelief in our separation from God and from each other doesn't mean that it's true or that it can't change. I personally believe it has to change because it's not founded in universal truth. It won't last. It will fall away as life expands and unfolds and humanity expands and unfolds. Oh, here's the quote that I picked up that I thought I was reading. This is from the U.S. Senator Cory Booker, who I love. Anyway, he said, I respect and value the ideas of rugged individualism and self-reliance, but rugged individualism didn't defeat the British. It didn't get us to the moon. We did that together. Change begins in our individual hearts, but manifests in the world collectively. This is how we change the world. This is what we do. We watch what we're contributing to the common consciousness, to the cultural norms that are being created by these common thoughts. You know, when we live our lives grounded in the reality that we're one with God and that God is simple, we live from our divine identity rather than from only our human identity. You know, and we're not blind. We know we're living in a human world, in a world where people and objects appear to be separate from each other. But I've come to know that on some level, we all intuitively know that we're one with something much larger than just this 3D world. You know, we might choose to ignore it and tap into the common belief in separation, but I know that there is a part in each of us that knows a larger reality. And when we live from that divine identity, you know, we come face to face with all the higher aspects of this divine presence of God, you know, contained within that larger reality. We begin to know that we are the love of God, the peace of God, the abundance, the vitality, the wholeness, you know, all of these qualities, the harmony, balance, order of God. These qualities are who we are naturally. And we can connect with them simply by placing our attention on them and feeling them within us, and then habituating them through that spiritual practice. Practice until till that becomes the default setting for our lives, until these qualities become our state of being, you know, and then God, spirit, the all that is, it simply emerges through us, because who we are is what emerges as our lives. That's what we demonstrate. And if God isn't emerging as our lives, if we're facing things that seem out of alignment with the resonance of these qualities that we want to express, then we can get curious. Here's where the curiosity comes in about what might be in the way of the natural flow. God is simple. Everything else is complex. So we ask ourselves, what am I seeing from? I read this wild report, and at first I thought, oh, is that pertinent? I really think it is. And at first I thought maybe it was a made-up story, but I found several different internet sites with the same info saying exactly the same thing, even with Wikipedia. So, you know, then it must be true, right? So apparently there was this groundbreaking joint study done by scientists at the University of California in Berkeley and the University of Washington. I don't know what city that's it. Where they discovered a new color. They discovered a new color. They called it OLO, O-L-O. And it's this ultra saturated. I didn't know what ultra saturated mean. I had to look it up. It means highly intense and vivid. So they discovered this ultra saturated blue-green hue that they called OLO. And the participants in the study who saw the new color described it as profound. And the way that they were able to see the new color was that I don't really know what the M cone is, but that the M cone photoreceptors in their eyes was stimulated by a specialized laser, which created the environment for them to see this color. And apparently this discovery paves the way for treating conditions like color blindness and other color-related eye issues. But as metaphysicians, we can look at this as this powerful metaphor for spiritual growth, to perceive things that we don't yet know about or have not yet experienced. Just as that color, OLO, existed beyond our natural perception, there are aspects of ourselves, there are aspects of the divine in our oneness with this infinite potential that still remain undiscovered, that we still haven't experienced. But when we go within, through our spiritual practice, we can move beyond the limits of our five senses. We can dive into that infinite possibility that's available to us in our oneness with Source. You know, there's no telling what is waiting to be revealed. I just found that really exciting. You know, and apparently some scientists called OLO the color of divine presence. Oh, I love that. The color of divine presence hiding in plain sight. They said it's love and beauty and peace. We're waiting just beyond the habits of perception. I think these scientists must be metaphysicians. But we have to ask ourselves, what colors or what experiences, emotions, potentials lie dormant within us, just waiting for the right conditions to be perceived, to be experienced. Olo reminds us that diving deep into our divine nature can reveal new dimensions of life that are just waiting to emerge through us. I just think it's just fascinating. It's funny that I got so excited about this new color, but there's so much beyond the perception of our five senses and so much available to us. And when we step beyond, time and space and into the vastness of the imagination of God, wow. And personally, I step into that place of infinite potential through meditation and prayer, or just simply as Ralane described to us with Lightning and Maria, just moving into a place of stillness, through and asking empowering questions, much like the visioning process. And there's just so many wonderful practices to open us up to the infinite imagination of God. It's just amazing. Life is so amazing. There's so much for us. Divine intelligence naturally moves through us. It's the inherent divinity within us. It expresses through us. And our part is to create the right environment for it to express, to create a welcoming environment, to be open and accepting, to open that space, and just to surrender to the natural flow. It wants to move through us. Nature does this. We can see it all around us. The potential within the seed just needs the right environment to emerge. Divine intelligence naturally begins to activate and move through the seed when it's in the right environment. And curiously, there are some seeds that until they go through, it's called scarification, I believe, until they go through a fire or some temperature change or frozen, they have to be challenged before they can crack open to their potential. Sound familiar? Sometimes we have to be cracked open so we can move into our potential, move out of that comfort zone. There's just an intelligence within the seed that has everything that it needs to emerge, to reveal the potential that's already within it. All it needs is the right environment, the right temperature, the right moisture, the right nutrients, and then life expresses. And the same is true for us as human beings. We are already the wholeness of God. And when we create the right internal environment for God to emerge, well, voila, there you go. Bob's your uncle, as they say. I'm a gardener. If I have a plant that's not doing very well, I know that it has nothing to do with the intelligence within the plant or the potential that's embedded within the plant or the seed, whatever it is. It is 100% of the time the environment the plant's in. It's either not getting enough water or getting too much water or not getting enough sun or getting too much sun. Doesn't have the right nutrients. There might be insects or parasites on the roots or the branches. It's always environmental. It's not some error or mistake within the plant itself. That's the God stuff. It's already perfect. So as a gardener, I have to set about creating an optimal environment for the plant to thrive, to survive and thrive. And the same is true for the emergence of God through us. It's not that we need to change who we are. We are already the allness of God. It's always an internal inner environment issue. And we can adjust that, And as human beings, we have more choice than any of my plants do. No matter how much an oak tree wants to be a pear tree or an apple tree, it's always got to be an oak. But human beings, we have much more agency over our lives. We have the ability to choose, to put our attention on a quality of God, the potential within the mind of God that's already within us, and we can demonstrate that, whatever that may be. Pick health, wholeness, abundance, love, peace, joy, whatever quality of God we'd like to express, it's already within us. And we bring it about through our spiritual practice. We are empowered to co-create with divine mind. And when we create an inner felt experience of what we want to demonstrate, it will emerge. It has no choice. It's natural law. Consciousness precedes form. We have to know it to demonstrate it. And that's what we develop through our spiritual practice. Our spiritual practice is where it's kind of interesting. It's where an idea moves from an abstraction to a knowing, where we have the actual encounter, the actual experience of spiritual truth. When our divinity becomes more alive for us than our human identity. I know I'm still practicing too. I don't think I'll ever stop practicing. Yeah, there's this funny story. It's called The Parable of the Cafe on the Cliff. And it goes like this. So imagine that you're on the edge of a cliff and you're just getting ready to dive into the water, which metaphorically represents diving into our spiritual practice and immersing ourselves in the divine reality of God, where it's safe to face all the parts of ourselves that might be a little fearful or uncomfortable, where it's safe to allow ourselves to be curious without fear of anything that's within us and to access the potential of the mind of God within us. So all of that is what we're diving into metaphorically. So imagine you're just getting ready to dive into the water and you decide, well, I'll just do a little stretching first before I dive in. So you're stretching, and then a friend comes by and he wants to have a conversation before you dive in. And so, so you have this conversation and then you tell your friend, I'm a little bit thirsty. So he or she goes and gets you some water. And then you decide that you're hungry and that you'd like to have something to eat before diving in. And so while your friend goes to get you food, more people start showing up and they join in the conversation and they bring a picnic table and you sit down and you eat together. And after a while, so many people are coming to talk and to eat and to be with you that you decide that maybe you should build a shelter so you could gather in, right? And pretty soon, you have this cafe on the cliff and you never end up diving in. You just live there on the edge of the cliff, you're right there, but you don't follow through on the most important part of actually doing the work and getting in the water. Because the truth is, we can talk all around the experience of our oneness with God. We can never actually participate with it until we dive in. Well, what do we always say? We live in a participatory universe. We are powerful, creative beings. And we can't participate with the creativity of God from the sidelines or from the edge, from sitting on the edge of the cliff. We got to get in the game. We got to dive in. We have to make ourselves available in consciousness to what is already our inherent birthright. It's there. So I didn't really talk too much about the mechanics of spiritual practice, the practices that we can do as we dive off the edge of the cliff. Mostly I spoke about the value of doing our spiritual practice, but I know that all of us on this call have a regular spiritual practice. And I should mention that on our Tuesday evening discussion group, we do explore the practical aspects of diving off the cliff edge. So I invite you, as you move through your week, to think about and to explore different practices that cultivate an inner environment of your answered prayers, of sitting in that consciousness of how you want to feel, what you want to bring about. Think about all your needs being met, how you want to feel, what you want to give to the world from the overflow of your joyous creation, of your joyous soul. I just want to end by saying, breathe and be curious, because God is simple. Everything else is complex. And so it is. So let's move into prayer. Just a quick prayer. We're going to dive in. God is all there is. God is the simple, benevolent presence of love. Ah, the juicy grandness of creativity, love, beauty, and all these things. They are the essence of who we are. And in this moment, I speak my word for and about every person on this call that there is a shift in consciousness that focuses them on their divine identity of all of these things that are them because they are good. And these become the driving force, the thing that emerges from them, from all of us into our lives. So grateful for this. We are abundance. It emerges in our lives. We are beauty. It emerges in our life. We are love. We are peace. We are joy. It all emerges into our lives from consciousness to form. I'm so grateful. So I just relax in this knowing that everything's good, that God is simple and all is well. And we say together, and so it is. And so it is. I love that. God is simple. Everything else is complex. I just thought, well, that will be the truth I build my talk around. Well, hello, everybody. I didn't know everybody was here. Hi, Claire. Hello. What a great looking group of people. Well, let's see. Rob, are you doing the conscious giving? I don't know. Oh, Lisa raised her hand. You know, I didn't do the June affirmation. I would do it next.
Sorry,
That's okay. You're good. Let me see.
little trouble unmuting.
Oh, you're fine. Let me see if I can find ways to give. We all know the ways to give, but I'll put them up anyway. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your reminder about the being curious and looking at the new ways to fix your spiritual environment through different kinds of practice and different means of being able to move deeper, move forward, whatever way you want to talk it. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Oh, you're welcome.
At any rate, this is our time to give. And remembering that I can't remember, I guess it was Ralane who said, when you give, you receive, and when you receive, you give. And so I think that's a wonderful way of looking at our times of giving. And those of you whose faces I see already know, Venmo is a good way to give, or you can mail your donation to Reverend Michelle. And to do Venmo, you do Venmo at Ohome Center. And so that's the easiest way, I think, for most people.
Yeah, it is. And just look for my face because I have two accounts and so the one that has the O Home Center has my picture on there.
Yeah. It's really easy.
It's really, it's simple.
Simple.
God is simple. Giving is simple. Okay, let's see. And here is our fresh new affirmation. And there it is. Okay, now I'll share it. Here we go. Go. Do you see it?
Not yet.
Oh, there. You see it now?
No.
Lisa, really?
There
You
it
don't
is.
see it, really? It's a little slow.
Oh, okay. I give with a grateful heart, knowing that spirit is the source and substance of all supply. I joyfully participate in the circulation of abundance. My offering blesses the world and returns to me multiplied. I am grateful and I am prosperous. And I don't have the bottom of this.
I think it says, and so it is. What are the chances? There we go.
There you go. I am grateful and I am prosperous, and so it is.
There you go. Oh, perfect. Oh, thank you. And so, I don't really have many announcements. Let's see, this isn't, you did, prayer group last week, right, Ralane? So you have what? this week?
Prayer Groove is this coming week.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
this
All right.
Wednesday at 10.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And
Sure.
then we have Monday night prayer, and then we have Tuesday, we're gonna do the last chapter of The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein. Yeah, it's been a fun book. And then on the 3rd of August, we're gonna go to Ohm, and Jim Massibus is gonna do his gratitude workshop down there. That'll be fun. And I guess that's about it. Yes. Woo-hoo. So, yeah, let's see. How about, Lisa, why don't you do your benediction, then we'll let Jesse do some closing music for us.
Lisa, you're muted.
Here, I got you.
There,
I am
thank
reading you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
No worries.
Oh, now my screen is disappearing.
It's
Okay.
it's a joint experience. Together collectively unmute you.
Thank you so much. So now maybe we can join together as the one body that we are, and know that this has been a blessed service. I'm just so grateful that we have this opportunity to be together and to practice the presence and to be advised in many ways by the service, finding different things to take with us as a part of our spiritual growth and joy. And Ralane's story was so blessed, and it was such a gift to pay attention to the real definition of humanity and love. And Jesse, you are just amazing. And I feel personally completely blessed by that song you sang, in terms of love. And I can't, it's just a blessing to have you with us. And it's a blessing to have everyone who is online today with us, and to be able to join together in our connection with spirit, and our that grows our connection as human beings. And I'm just so grateful for the service, and I'm grateful for each and every person. And I know I'm going on and on, but I am so grateful to Spirit for everything in my life, and in a large part because of everyone on this call. And so I release my word with love, knowing that it's done, and we can release together by saying, and so it is.
So it is. Beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. Thank
Yeah.
you. So heartfelt. I could feel the authenticity and sincerity in that. Love it. Thank you. Okay, Jesse.
Okay, we'll take it out with one of my favorites of my own songs. Everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Look at the clock, it's running day and night. Got no control in those little clock hands. A little soldier just marching through time. I'm so glad I am not a clock, I am alive, and I can choose to dance each time I open my eyes. That's when I get to decide how I am gonna show up and show out in this life. Huh, everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Everybody get up. I love the dancing, Claire. Oh, it's a beautiful 'cause it's a beautiful day. Yeah. Everybody get up, oh, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Yeah, yeah. Everybody get up, oh, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Everybody get up, oh, 'cause it's a beautiful day.
Everybody up, everybody off the cliff.
Woo woo.
Everybody dive right in. Oh, thank you. Okay, I am going to stop our recording. So goodbye, recording people.